Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning. How are we doing today, guys?
We're not doing good, Jenny.
Not doing good.
I thought you told me LeBron's the GOAT. He's disqualified after that performance. I'm sorry, it's over and it's out.
I've been told you it was over.
Huh?
I've been told you it was over for this year.
LeBron keeps telling us after every game. He basically quit. He should just go on home.
Well, it looked like they quit last night, didn't
they? They did. Yeah.
That maybe wasn't the best showing. That's a tough way to start the show for you guys. We do have the trade deadline today, so we'll obviously be monitoring all that if there are any moves. But, you know, since Shannon isn't doing so good today, let's talk about why. Despite 30 points from LeBron and being huge favorites entering the game, the Lakers fell to the undermanned Blazers 107-105. Russell Westbrook missed his first game of the year, officially listed out with back tightness, but LA still managed to have 21 turnovers without him. That's never a good sign. Shannon, how do you explain what happened last night in Portland, please?
Offer without explanation. They mailed this one in. Get this bottom of the barrel. You can't get any lower than this. They lost to a team that had just lost. I think Orlando beat the brakes off them. Had just beat the brakes off them. Now,
and by the way, they'd lost Portland 5 straight at home.
At home.
And 6 straight overall. Go ahead.
You would have thought, okay, there's no Russ. We had talked about it just yesterday, Skip. Damn, Russ the only one that don't miss any games. Everybody else done miss 10 games, 5 games, DMP, coach's decision. All of a sudden, Russ comes up with a phantom back tightness.
All of a sudden, yeah.
So this is an
lower back tightness?
Right. This is an opportunity to say, see, remove this.
Yeah.
You go ahead and beat them by 20. Everything's all well.
Was AD there?
AD was there.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't tell he was there.
Good point.
Skip, this is embarrassing. 21 turnovers. LeBron had 6 of those turnovers. AD refused to shoot the basketball in the fourth quarter. Skip, what was that? AD plays 41 minutes and gives you 17 and 7. Skip, AD took 11 shots. Is he protesting? Does he want to leave? So I don't want. Look, LeBron said, there's this fog, blah blah blah. Skip, that ain't got nothing to do with you. Skip, they could have an announcement. FS1 is having layoffs. Until they say, Shannon, your services are no longer required, I'm gonna show up and do my damn job. What got going on the trade deadline? This guy might come. That got nothing to do with you. You get paid to play.
That is correct.
I mean, what the hell is this? LeBron James and Anthony Davis are supposed, I don't care who else they have, me, you, Jenny, the camera guy, we're supposed to be the Anthony Simons-led Portland Trailblazer team. That is factual. But what happened? They show up bull jiving. I don't know what that was last night. That was embarrassing. 18 points in the first quarter. I could tell right away. I said, y'all on some bull jive tonight. Y'all on some bull jive. That's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. Anthony Davis and LeBron James, that is on you. I'm not going to mention anybody else. That's on you. One guy I said is the greatest player of all time. The other guy's a perennial all-star, is as elite in both ends of the area as we have in the league. And you lose to that team? Who the hell is C.J. Ellaby?
He's a second rounder out of Washington State 2 years ago. Ask me another one.
Dennis Smith Jr. has been on half the NBA teams in only his 5th year.
Justice Winslow started last night and played 34 minutes. He's been on, this is his 4th team in 3 years. Keep going. How about Trendon Watford?
Yeah, who is he? Where did he come from?
He's undrafted, a rookie out of LSU, undrafted.
Okay, what about Greg Brown the third?
How about Greg Brown the third? He's a second-round rookie out of Texas. How about Keljin Blevins? Happens to be Dame's cousin. I guess he's kind of a distant cousin, but he's a G-leaguer who was undrafted out of Montana State.
Well,
these guys are playing big minutes last night for the Snail Blazers.
But you know what happens, Skip? When you turn the ball over, you'll get only 2 guys with double-digit in shots. You know why? Because you're turning it over, and so you're not able to get the ball up on the rim. And then in the fourth quarter, that was a terrible turnover by Bron because it looks like. And then Dennis Johnson Jr. throws up a shot.
It was just horrendous.
And then guess what? Everybody just standing around. You gonna get it?
And Nurk went and got it out of his body bag that LeBron once put him in. Remember that?
Nurkic outplayed AD.
He outplayed him. He had 19 and 12.
Nurkic. Yusef Nurkic. Now, this is an AD that just gave it to Joel Embiid.
He did. He gave it to him.
Since he's been back, he's given you 28, 29, 11, 12, 17, 15 rebounds. You give me 7 rebounds in 41 minutes?
What's AD's history, especially with well, let's just go back to the Pelicans. What's his history? Way up and way not.
The consistency.
Right? Yeah,
and that is the problem with
effort. Effort.
Look, all this loss, we can talk about Frankie V and the lineups and we can't get them. No. When you got those two guys, you're supposed to win this game against an Anthony Simons-led basketball team. That is fact. This was embarrassing. Now, I don't know. Look, maybe blow it all up. This is not on Russ. Russ was sitting down in street clothes blowing bubbles. So he had nothing to do with this. Anthony Davis and LeBron James, this game is on you, and your performances last night was unacceptable. I ain't talking about Tucker. I'm not talking about Monk or Reza. I'm not talking about anybody, Stanley Johnson. Anthony Davis and LeBron, you cost us this game.
That is correct. Thank you for your honesty and your harsh objectivity when it comes to your man, LeBron James, and your second man, Anthony Davis.
Yeah, this is unacceptable.
Unacceptable. And by the way, the great James Worthy, who for our younger viewers was a star among stars on the Showtime Lakers once upon a time, long ago back in the 80s and early 90s. James Worthy is now an analyst on the local Sports Spectrum LA, which carries the games here in Southern California. And as it got thrown to the studio, he immediately said, "That's the worst Laker loss I can ever remember. Ever.
Yes.
In all his days watching Laker games, he couldn't remember a hit bottom Laker loss worse than that one."
Neither can I.
And by the way, I also would like to frame this with the fact that the the Trailblazers are in total meltdown, reload, rebuild, right?
Yeah.
They're just obviously there's no Dame, now there's no CJ. They just gave up 2 of their best players to the Clippers, and in return, they wind up with Josh Hart, who did not play last night, surprisingly to me, and Eric Bledsoe, they got back, did not play last night. So you don't even have your returns on these recent trades, right?
Right.
And yet, here's the shocker of the night. Your Lakers come out firing from 3, so you can't say they mailed it in from 3 because they didn't.
They made 17.
They made 17 of ultimately 37. That's 46%. If I told you going into this game that your Lakers, who by the way were anywhere from a 9 to a 9.5 point favorite at Portland because of this tear down rebuild, 9.5 point favorite going in. If I told you you're going to make 17 threes tonight, what would you tell me? We win by 30.
And shoot 55% from the field. Oh, yeah, we got this. It was a 25-point win, Skip.
Really?
25-point win, yeah.
And by the way, even in the fourth quarter when it tightened up, you did make 4 of 8 threes. Well, that's pretty great for a fourth quarter. That'll work usually. Unfortunately, Portland made 5 of 8. But Portland for the game made, remember, they were 1 for 13 in their first 13 threes, and they wound up getting all the way to 10 of 32. But you outscored them by 21 points from the three-point line. Usually when that happens, almost notoriously when that happens, the visiting team is going to win that game, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't because everything else went wrong. Points in the paint, all the little big things, that they were all Portland all night long.
7 turnovers in the fourth quarter.
7 turnovers. It won't work. Neither will 21 turnovers for the game. And here was the shock of shocks for me. To your point, Russell Westbrook had played every single game. Russell Westbrook was leading the NBA in minutes played, which is good news and really bad news for you because he's been pretty much a debacle of a disaster, of a nightmare, of a liability. He was the one player you can't overcome, you can't win in spite of. But all of a sudden, out of the blue, to your point, they say before the game he has lower back tightness. So he played all those games. What was it, 55 games? High level, high minutes played. And all of a sudden he's got lower back tightness. And coincidentally, he got benched for the last 3 minutes of the third quarter and all of the fourth quarter of the previous night.
Skip, you sit down for too long, your back will tighten up.
That's what I was thinking. I told Ernestine that last night. You know, if you sit too long, if you sat for a long time, you just get all stiff. That's why I always get up every commercial break.
You get up, walk, and stand.
Because I ran in the morning, and if I sit here too long, it'll all get all tight, and I don't like it. So I guess he just sat for too long, and he couldn't go in the back-to-back at Portland.
Correct.
or maybe he was protesting, or maybe
they were protesting.
Maybe,
no, we don't want you to get nicked because we got big plans for you tomorrow.
Okay, well then that would be dream come true. That would mean that he was sat again against his wishes because he's about to exit stage left.
Right.
Well, that would be I keep telling you, you got one shot, one hope, and that is to get rid of Russell Westbrook by, 4 Eastern? Is it 3 Eastern or 4? I can't remember. 3 Eastern. 3 Eastern, correct, today, okay? So that's your only hope. So were they putting him on ice, in mothballs, just to protect him?
Okay.
I would hope that's what was happening, but I don't think that's what was happening.
Okay, let's just say for the sake of argument, that was the case. We don't want anything to happen. We're going to put him in glass because we don't want anything. We don't want a nick. We don't want a chip. We don't want anything. Explain the performance of LeBron and AD.
Because it was on a silver platter against that team.
Thank you.
For LeBron and AD to say, okay, watch this.
We about to go get 75 between the two of us.
Watch us operate. Watch us pick and roll. And by the way, I kept, listen, this was the one game where I said, I circled the date on the calendar. I'm going to go to bed at a reasonable hour on this one because it's going to be over by halftime. And it really wasn't over by halftime. LeBron made a lucky bounce 3 at the end of the first half where it bounced straight up in the air off the back iron and went straight through. And that made it a 7-point game. And I said, you know what? The Blazers ain't going anywhere. They're going to be right there.
Yep.
So I'm staying up, and I had to stay up for the whole game because I was in awe of the fact that even though LeBron and AD kept trying to pick and roll, nothing was clicking, nothing was happening where they could distance themselves because they don't play any defense.
No, zero.
But what's hard for me to fathom, what's hard to explain is I say they don't play any defense, and then I look at one number on AD's stat sheet, and it's all the way over on the right side.
Blocks.
He blocked 5 shots. I thought his rim protection against various nameless, faceless drivers for the Snail Blazers, I thought he was blocking a lot of shots.
Yes.
Well, that was pretty good, but they could not separate. They don't have enough firepower because they're aging. And I told you yesterday, this is the first time I've seen LeBron show some age where on the defensive end, he can't impact, and overall, he can't make his team that much better than the Trailblazers. So all of a sudden, the shock to me was that without Westbrook, your man LeBron James turned into Westbrook.
Yes.
Because he turned it over 6 times, and they weren't pretty. So in honor of our almost daily Russell Westbrook blooper reel.
You don't put a reel together about LeBron.
We got to do a Westbrookian blooper reel for poor LeBron James last night. Could we please roll it? Oh, we get the cloud music. LeBron, what was that? LeBron, you got Westbrook. Come on, LeBron. That's just, I'm not into it. I'm not thinking. That looked like Westbrook, right?
That did.
Yeah. LeBron. Whoops. That was a good idea. It was almost spectacular, but he just got a little too much on it. LeBron, think about it. Whoops. That was vintage.
This was the breaker, Skip.
Because you could have cut it to 2
No, you could have tied it.
Oh,
because it was 100 to 102.
Was that,
that was the one.
Yeah, okay, got it. Yeah, I got my notes here somewhere. So let's look, if we can, at that last one again, because that was the one that was 153 left. They're down 2. Yeah, okay, so they're down 2. This could, if you go get a hoop, you could tie this. Okay, so nice block.
Just keep it.
That wasn't even close.
But Skip, just keep it going. Yeah. Make Trent come to you.
Hey, the greatest driver of the basketball, freight training on the break. I just thought he would just keep going. Keep driving it. I think LeBron could have ended up dunking that ball.
Yes.
I do. I think he could have just tomahawked that. So all of a sudden he has 6, and then Malik Monk, who was up and down and did not have a hot hand last night. Usually he'll carry you with 5 or 6 threes. He was 1 of 4, but he had 5 turnovers.
Yeah, LeBron had 6, Monk had 5, and Tucker had 9.
Yep.
So that's 15 of your 21 turnovers between 3 guys.
Okay. And then LeBron, maybe just tired legs, but with 44.9 seconds left, he had a Westbrookian little bunny at the rim where he just couldn't finish it. He just, if we could see this, because, we don't have that one, I'm sorry. But it's just a little it's just a little
He went with his left, too.
And he went with his left, and he just left it a little short. Mm-hmm. Now, they go down the other end, and then the Dennis Smith horrendous play happened, and LeBron doesn't even come back to play defense because the play's going the other way.
Snowbird
he gets a snowbird. He gets an ultimate cherry pick at the other end. So you got back in the game.
Right.
And then to your point, the end happens where you get a Nurkic offensive rebound, and then you're just cooked.
But nobody chases the ball. Everybody's just standing around.
Yep.
And Nurkic's like, well, y'all don't want it, I'll take it. Skip, I don't want to know one thing. What happened to AD in free throws? Skip, it's Skip.
He used to be deadly.
Yes.
He used to be 80%. He went
1 for 4.
1 for 4. That won't work.
And he missed like 4 the other night.
They go 6 for 13 from the free throw line. That's obviously not enough free throws.
But you shoot 46% on those. You only shoot 13. You got to be 11 or 13, 12 or 13. You can't be 6 or 13 on 13 attempts.
Yep.
This was just bad. Skip, this is as low as you can get. I don't know. How do you go lower? How do you get lower than what they already are? So I want to know, so if the trade happened, we're going to talk about the trade, but this was your opportunity to show, you know what? If you switch things up, we can take off. I'm not saying we're going to win the West, but I'm showing you that you can get this. Mm-hmm. Russ wasn't there. This was your opportunity to show AD and LeBron, you cannot lose a game like this.
Yep.
There's no way. I'm trying to think of a team with 2 elite players like that, playing a team that they in full rebuild. This is a dilapidated building. This is a demolition job.
Right. Remember, no Norman Powell, no Robert Covington.
No Dame.
No Dame.
No CJ. And a bunch of guys that's just happy. They're just happy.
Okay, I do like Anthony Simons.
Yeah.
They are trying to convince Dame to rebuild around Dame and Anthony.
Right.
And listen, in the fourth quarter, I thought he was the best player on the floor.
Yeah. He was 2 for 2 from the 3, made both of his free throws. He can play. He was known as a dunker, but he's showing that he has an all-around game, Skip.
He made some big threes last night, some clutch threes.
But Skip, come on now, 21 turnovers, we get it. Sometimes you're going to occasionally, you travel. Okay, I get that. No, this is just careless with the basketball. This is just trying stuff that you ain't got, good and well, that's not going to work.
Okay, and I'm sorry, and I appreciate that you mentioned it. You first guessed this. I don't want to hear from LeBron after the game that we're in a fog because of the trade deadline. Everybody's in a fog. Yeah. Everybody's hearing speculation and rumors. You just have to play through that. He's been playing through that quote-unquote fog for 19 years.
Guess what, Skip? You're not involved in none of the trade talks.
Definitely not.
Now, if Horton Tucker or Malik Monk or some of these lesser-tier guys, okay, I get them. When Brandon Ingram or Kuzma and Josh Hart and Lonzo, when they was here, okay, Skip, they're young players. They didn't really know anything about it. They had just got to the league. They had never heard anything about no trade talks. I get that. Anthony Davis and LeBron James aren't involved in no trade talks. So no. That's not the, let them. So if they go play back, if Tucker shot 1 for 12, okay, I get him. Some of these other guys, I get them. No. Not AD and LeBron. The trade talk doesn't involve you.
Nope. And LeBron finally concludes, I'm tired as hell right now. I just want to drink some wine and get to bed. Well, it just sounds like I'm done talk. Like I'm finished for this year. Yeah. Like I'm quitting on this team. That's how it came across to me. Like I've had enough of this.
I've heard enough of the talking. Because at first, Skip, when they first talked, we got to get our lineups together. We hadn't played together. And at some point in time, you start telling a lie and you convince yourself the lie is the truth. They had convinced themselves if they played together, you just got to see it. No, I seen it. I see that this doesn't work. You got a bunch of parts that doesn't work together. And now it's come to fruition. You are, at this late in the season, hold on, that's 56 games. At 56 games, you know exactly what you are. And what the Lakers aren't a very good basketball team.
4 under 500.
That's what you are.
Shocking.
Skip, this is not 16 games into the season. No. Well, let us get to the All-Star. At 56 games, whatever you are after 56 games, that's what you are. Either you are the Suns or Golden State, Memphis or Chicago or Philly, Miami. That's what they are. Those are top-tier teams.
Yep.
This is where you are. You're a bottom-tier team.
So this threw me a huge curve in my thought process because I told you the last couple of days you have to, at any cost, get out from under Russell Westbrook at the trade deadline, even if it requires taking back John Wall, who would be way less of a problem and distraction than Russ, salary for salary. But at last report, Houston still wants that 2027 draft pick to do them a favor, to say, we'll take him off your hands. We'll have him as our sideshow the rest of the year, but you're on the hook for next year at $47 million. And then at some point, you're going to have a great expiring contract. But the point is, now that you showed me that, what you didn't show me last night, I'm not sure that's the move. That's not going to save the season.
That would have, Skip, Rob Pelinka could have gone to Jenny and said, see, Jenny, we moved this. Hey, we won by 20. Without him, we good. Malik can handle the ball. Tucker can handle the ball. If LeBron, put LeBron off the ball or he needs a blow, hey, we got two guys that can handle that. We good. You go upstairs and say, Jenny, we still want to move forward. What? After what I saw last night? Russ wasn't there. So explain to me, you said Russ needs to be removed from the equation and things was crystallized itself. Well, he was removed from the equation and things didn't crystallize. It became more cloudy.
Did it? Bottom line, final thought, you know how much I love me some Chauncey Billups. I was so happy for him last night because I do believe he had a big hand in coaching all these no-name kids into a big win over a team that was way better and should have won by 20 or 30 points. And yet it puts Frankie V, as in Vogel, back on the hottest of seats because if you have to change something, the easiest fix is always to fire the coach.
It is, but Skip,
I'm not sure that's the magic move.
This is not a coaching issue. Those guys on the court aren't giving you the effort consistently, possession in and possession out, night in and night out.
Unless you want to just change the voice in the huddle in the locker room.
Well, hell, Skip, I love Fizdale, but hell, Fizdale was coach when Vogel had COVID. How many games did they win when he was there? It's not a coach, it's the players.
It feels hopeless.
Hold on.
Ooh.
So how was Coach Belichick different in Cleveland than he was in New England? It's the players. He's the same coach. His name was Bill Belichick.
Always crazy to think about what was for Belichick back then, right?
Yes.
We were really doubting him at that point.
No mercy.
Odell Beckham Jr. is arguably the biggest star heading into Sunday. With defenses worried about Cooper Kupp, OBJ has had plenty of moments to shine in the postseason. However, according to a new ranking of best players in the Super Bowl, Odell ranks number 12 overall, behind T. Higgins, Rob Havenstein, and DJ Reader. So, Shannon, I feel like he's kind of low there. Should he be higher?
No. Odell was cut in the middle of the season. He was released.
But it was Baker's fault.
Odell Beckham was released, was on the street. He signed with the Rams, and now they're saying he's the 12th best player in the Super Bowl. There's no slight. Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Ramsey, Burrow, Stafford, Chase, Von Miller, Andrew Whitworth. Here's some of the guys he's in front of. Trey Hendrickson makes $15 million a year, made it to the Pro Bowl. Joe Mixon, $12 million a year, made it to the Pro Bowl. Leonard Floyd, $16 million a year. He's ranked in front of those guys. It's not a slight to be the second best receiver on your own team when that receiver is Cooper Kupp. Now, Cooper Kupp needs 7 catches for the most catches in postseason history. He needs 61 yards to have the most postseason receiving yards in NFL history. He's 59 from being second. He has 2,333 receiving yards when you combine regular season and postseason. So there's no slight in being the second best receiver on your team if that guy is Cooper Kupp, who had a historically great season. Odell has played well, and if you notice, look at his numbers against Arizona. Look at his numbers against Tampa. Look at his numbers against San Francisco. What we're starting to see, better. Now we're about to reach the crescendo, and then we're going to finish it off. So, no, that's not a slight. Considering where he started, where he was at the middle of the season, considering where he is now, Odell Beckham is just fine.
I thought he was a superstar.
Don't do that.
No? Well, is he? I'm doing it because you do it. That's how you talk in glowing terms of his superstar capabilities.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, he's capable.
Okay, well, he's 12th. And not only is he 12th, but I keep going down this list, and I say, wait a second, as Jenny pointed out, at 10 is Rob Havenstein, the tackle for the Rams.
Yeah.
He's better than Odell Beckham Jr., who has, 15 million followers on Instagram?
Well, I don't think they based it on social media followers. I think they just looked at the grades during the course of the...
How about 11, one notch ahead, is DJ Reader, the defensive tackle for the Bengals? You're kidding. DJ Reader is better than Odell Beckham Jr.? What happened?
I guess, but if you factoring in, Skip, you're grading the guy on the entire season. You look at Odell grade when he was in Cleveland. You look at some of his grades when he first got there. And think about it. He's played himself into a top 12 on both teams in the Super Bowl. I think that just goes to show you how valuable he has become over the last month and a half of the season.
After his first 8 games as a Ram, he averaged 3.4 catches and only 38 yards a game down the stretch of the regular season. And meanwhile, his quarterback's QBR, Matt Stafford, was in line to be MVP. And all of a sudden, the QBR fell from an average of 69 all the way down to an average of 54. That's a plummet.
Oh, so he went from he went from a little over 3 catches and a little over 40 yards to all of a sudden he's 7 catches and 75, 80 yards.
And wonder what happened with the defenses once playoffs rolled around. The defenses finally said, we got to take Cooper Kupp away.
Okay.
We got to triple cover Cooper Kupp. And if that number 3 guy, if he makes a couple of catches, so be it.
Hey,
He's not going to beat us.
He eating.
Is he eating?
He eating. He getting fat over there.
Really?
He getting fat eating one-on-one coverage. Yeah.
Well, if he's that good, then shouldn't he be like the 4th best on this list?
I tell you what. Let's see what if they were to take another grade after the Super Bowl. Let's see where he'd be ranked in.
Really? It just keep going up and up?
You see it. You see it.
If the playoffs lasted like 8 games, well, he'd wind up number 1 on this list.
No,
he would unseat Aaron Donald.
Whoa.
Wouldn't he?
Well, hold on. Cooper Kupp?
We got to add some playoff games.
No. You told me Cooper Kupp is the guy.
I didn't tell you that. You told me that.
No. You told me Cooper Kupp. Why is Odell better than Cooper Kupp? Little Cooper Kupp.
Well, that's what I keep telling you. He's not better.
But who's number 1?
Who's faster? Odell or Cooper Kupp? Who's quicker, Odell or Cooper Kupp?
Skip.
I mean, it might be Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, Skip, but here's the thing.
What?
The combine is where you go show off your skills, and then it helps with your draft status. Once you get there, you have to do the work. Although we see Odell is starting to look like he did in his first 3 years in the NFL.
Wow.
When he was a Pro Bowl, second-team All-Pro receiver.
Yeah.
He's starting to show that.
So who is the biggest name, most popular player in the whole Super Bowl? Who ranked number 1 on that list? It's Odell times 10.
But here's the thing. The most popular player doesn't necessarily mean he's the best player in the league. Aaron Judge is more popular than Mike Trout. Is he a better player than Mike Trout? No. Is he a better player than Vlad Guerrero Jr. or Tatis Jr.? No, he isn't. So you can't base saying, because he's popular, he has more social media followers, he is a better player. Odell has those followers, but he's not a better player than some of the guys that they have in front of him.
Wait a second. Number 9 on this list, 3 rungs ahead of Odell Beckham Jr. is T. Higgins?
Did you not see?
Wait, is T. Higgins better than Odell?
T. Higgins had
That's what they're saying.
T. Higgins had a better season than Odell Beckham. Yes, Odell Beckham got released. How many receivers get released during the season and come in and contribute on the Super Bowl team?
You told me that was Baker's fault.
No. He got released. He wanted out. He's making Baker look real bad. Somehow Matthew Stafford found a way to get him the ball. Matthew Stafford did. Well, I don't know.
That should mean you're ranked 2nd or 3rd on this list?
So Odell Beckham is better than Jalen Ramsey. Odell Beckham is better than Aaron Donald and Jamar Chase and Stafford and Burrow.
Wait a second. You just threw in Jamar Chase. Why isn't he better than Jamar Chase?
The man just had the single greatest receiving game for a rookie. He's about to be Offensive Rookie of the Year. The very same award Odell Beckham Jr. won.
So is Jamar Chase, would you say, right here, right now?
Right now, Jamar Chase is better than Odell, okay?
Is he better than Odell ever was?
No.
Was? Yes, he is.
Okay.
To my eye, he is.
So Odell Beckham Jr. did not win Offensive Rookie of the Year after missing the first 4 games. Did he do that?
He did that.
Okay.
He made the greatest catch in the history of football against my Dallas Cowboys on a Sunday night, and Chris Collinsworth immediately proclaimed it the greatest catch ever on NBC National.
I mean, to my eye, it was the greatest catch I had seen at the time.
And yet, the Giants lost the game.
Okay, but Skip, hold on. Did Tom Brady not throw for 500 yards? But they lost the game. You can have an outstanding achievement. The game Michael Jordan scored 63, they lost. Stop pretending because if you lose, it diminishes the accomplishment. He did that. He made that catch. Yes, they lost. Tom Brady lost. He threw for 505. It doesn't diminish that he did that. It was a great feat. It just came in a losing effort.
Is it fair to say that if you look at Odell's body of work just in New York, that he was actually a losing football player? Because that's what I saw. I saw a loser.
Hold on.
I saw a dragged down football player whose intangibles were losing intangibles because it was one thing after another, going over the edge, losing your emotional cool game after game, fighting the kicking net, proposing to the kicking net. Okay. Getting suspended for going after Josh Norman after the whistle.
Since then, have we seen any outbursts like that in Cleveland? Did we see any outbursts like that? Are we not allowed to? I mean, everybody gets to grow. Everything grows. Everything graduates. If you're in school, you don't stay in kindergarten or you don't stay in the first grade. You graduate. Okay, he made some mistakes. There are some things that Odell could have done better. But let's allow him to move forward. Now, since he's been in L.A., have any of those things reared his head?
No, because he wound up in football heaven.
Okay.
He gets to shine in the shadows of the most productive receiver in the history of football. As you keep saying, we've never seen anything like the numbers that Cooper Kupp put up this year.
Okay.
Correct?
But
what a sweet spot for Odell.
Hold on. You say that. You say, look at the numbers that Cooper Kupp, and then you say, well, if Odell was that good, he would be better than Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
I mean, he should be. Given the way you talk about him, he got free. What did LeBron keep tweeting? Free Odell.
Yeah, free.
He wasn't tweeting free T. Higgins, right? Because he didn't care about T. Higgins. But T. Higgins is said to be better, more valuable.
T. Higgins season. When you Skip, think about what Odell was doing in Cleveland. The man gets released. And it took him a while to get his footing in L.A., learn the system. It took a while for Sean McVay to find out how he was going to use him. But look at now. The guy went from being released, being on Cleveland, getting released, to being the 12th best player. You do realize there's 106 players on these two teams, 53-man rosters, two teams. He's the 12th best player of 106. That ain't bad.
I know, but if you're a superstar, that's pretty bad. And
so Andrew Whitworth is a superstar?
Andrew Whitworth.
Yeah, so what offensive lineman you ever heard said was a superstar?
Well, there have been a few.
No,
I've had one at left tackle for a while. He may not be anymore, but I consider him a superstar.
No.
Tyron Smith.
They consider linemen don't get that kind of adulation as saying superstar status. That normally is reserved for skill position players or Aaron Donald. Okay, offensive lineman, he's a great player. Zach Martin was a great player. Nobody said he was a superstar. Quentin Nelson is a great player. Nobody said he's a superstar.
I don't know. Didn't you play with Jonathan Ogden?
Yeah, but they didn't say...
I call him a superstar, man.
He was a great player, but they didn't use the term superstar to describe offensive linemen. Yes, and I played with Gary Zimmerman also, Skip. But what you're trying to do, what about these guys that's making $15, $12 million that made the Pro Bowl? That Odell better than. Mention Trey Hendrickson. Is he any good?
I mean, once upon a time, Odell was making like $50 million.
Oh, no. Is Trey Hendrickson any good? A simple yes or a simple no.
Is he better than Odell? No. No.
The guy made the Pro Bowl. The guy just traded. Remember, he left New Orleans, and when New Orleans was really, really good, he was playing. They didn't generate near the pressure. And he wasn't the same player when he came back against Tampa. Joe Mixon, you love Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon, he should have been a first-round pick. Joe Mixon, and hey, he did what he did. Hey, we're not excusing that, and we're not.
Did I ever say Trey Hendrickson was a superstar? Did I ever say Joe Mixon was a superstar? No. Does everybody still believe that Odell Beckham Jr. is a superstar? They do.
Skip.
He is talked about in hallowed tones.
But what do I tell you? Sports is about updating your resume. Odell is in the
updating.
He's in the process of
upticking.
He's updating his resume.
Yep.
So let's see how it plays out.
One more game. What do you got? Maybe 150 this time?
You never know.
If you
he's more than capable.
If you re-rank after Sunday, he might be up to 2 or 3.
He won't care because somebody's gonna pay him a boatload of money because they're gonna realize that he could be a number one again.
Really?
And that's what he is.
And maybe at heart, he's a number 2. Maybe he's found his comfort zone as a number 2 playing in the shadows of.
Odell is the one thing I know about him is that he's all about growing. Comfort is great. Nothing grows in a comfort zone. So we see Odell expand who and what he is. Yes, he had issues. I never glossed over those issues. I held him accountable for his behavior in New York. But we didn't see that in Cleveland. We didn't see that. We don't see that in LA. So I think let's give him credit. That happened. But since he's been out of there, we haven't seen those outbursts. We haven't seen those flare-ups. And since he's been in L.A., all we've seen is good football. Real good football.
We've seen superstardom football, right?
It's coming. They're coming.
And my favorite line in this Pro Football Focus capsule here on Odell ranking 12th, the last line is, Beckham could have a big game if Cooper Kupp is doubled. And I'm saying, wait a second. If Cooper Kupp is, are you kidding? He will be tripled. He will be doubled on every snap of the offensive snap that the Rams run. Every snap, he will have at least 2 on him, and sometimes he will have 3 on him on third down.
That's when Odell eat. That's when Odell eat.
What a sweet spot.
Yeah,
for him,
sweet.
Right?
Somebody got to eat.
Yeah, but if you're a superstar, you wouldn't like this spot because you get half the targets of Cooper Kupp, right?
Hey,
you're going to catch half the balls.
You don't count the targets. You make the targets count. That's what Odell does.
Really?
Yeah, he doesn't get the 13, 14
That sounds like
catches.
a complimentary receiver.
Call it what you want to. Guess what? His ring will be the same. If they win, his ring will be the same size as Cooper Kupp. Same amount of diamonds.
So the bottom line is, it feels like this is the most overrated, overhyped player in the history of the Super Bowl.
That's what you try to make it out to be.
That's where we're headed.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Listening to that, you might be motivated, Skip, by your words.
I hope so.
We're going to move on.
No, you don't. You better not hope so because you picking the Bengals. You better hope he's not motivated.
I'm getting back to what is happening in Brooklyn, and there's a lot going on. And according to a new report, James Harden is ready to move on from Brooklyn, with Brian Windhorst saying the superstar is, quote, screaming in every way he possibly can. I don't want to be here. Get me out of here. Woj is also reporting that Harden specifically wants to go to the 76ers, but doesn't want to make a formal request due to fear of public backlash. So, Shannon, if Harden was traded straight up for Ben Simmons here, which team would win that deal?
The Sixers. James Harden is having a bad year, but he's still 22, 8, and 10. 22 points, 8 rebounds, 10 assists. He's one like a tick behind Chris Paul, if I'm not mistaken, as far as assist leaders. James Harden is still a dynamic player, but you see what happens, Skip, when he wants to leave somewhere. We just saw this last year.
I'd say.
You just saw it. He wants to leave again. The thing that I love most about Kevin Durant knew when he made his decision, Skip, when he was in the Hamptons, Sag Harbor, he knew the criticism that he was going to take by joining the Warriors. He said, I don't give a damn what y'all say about me. Call me what you want to.
And?
I'm going to do what's going to make KD happy.
Did he back it up?
He goes to Brooklyn. Man, you leave Steph, you leave Clay, Draymond. I don't give a damn. This is my career. This is my life. I'm doing what makes me happy. LeBron has done that for the longest. All the criticism he got by going to Miami, going back to Cleveland, going to L.A. I don't care what y'all think. James Harden needed to adopt that.
But wait a second. LeBron never quit his way out of any situation. But he was always free to go. But right?
You're right. But I'm saying, and KD did the exact same thing. But I'm saying you can't worry about the criticism. But we've seen James Harden behave in this manner.
Have we?
Just a year ago.
Yep.
So, but the Sixers would definitely win this trade. James Harden and Joel Embiid in the pick and roll. Joel Embiid is playing out of his mind. He lost his mind the last month and a half. He's been sensational. Step backs, pivot, dunking, 3-point, getting to the free throw line, challenging anything to come inside. Get it out of here.
I tried to tell you, best big man in basketball.
No. But anyway, will you stop trying to distract me? Skip, look. Is Ben going to play this season? The man hadn't played. I mean, I'm sure he's getting up shots in the gym somewhere. But if this trade were to happen, the Sixers absolutely win this at 1,000%. Because we see James Harden when he motivated. We saw what he do when he first got to the Brooklyn Nets. He had played himself into the MVP discussion. He had all of a sudden jumped KD. That's how well he was playing. Triple-double, 30-point triple-double. KD miss a game, he go get 40-point triple-doubles. No, if this deal happens, the Sixers win it.
A month ago, I would have agreed with you. Today, I don't. And I used to be a James Harden fan and defender, but I got to tell you, I've seen enough. What's one of the oldest cliches?
There's a lot for you to see, too, though.
Well, okay, that's the point. Thank you. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah.
He's about to try to fool you again, twice. That's shame on me. James Harden looks like he's age 32 going on 42. He's in year 13, and it looks like he's in year 23.
Right.
James Harden does not take care of himself the way LeBron does and Kevin Durant does.
No.
James Harden is a train wreck waiting to happen because it's one thing after another. I even hark back to the Milwaukee series last year when it's Kevin or bust, basically,
right.
because James is playing on one leg.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
It's always something wrong. The hamstring pulls every other night. It was a hand, then it was a hamstring, then it was a hand, then it was a hamstring. He's always hurt. He looks in worse and worse shape by the dribble. He's trying at 32 to play his way into shape.
It's hard
and
to do it
anymore.
Yeah, once you start getting on up there in age, Skip, it gets harder and harder, and you're more susceptible to injury. And his game, Skip, his game is all start-stop, herky-jerky. That's got to be max taxing on your hamstrings.
And I'm starting to see the same sort of decline we're seeing in Russ with the Lakers, where you rely so much on his athleticism is different than Russ's.
Right.
Russ is more explosive, but
Right.
but James is slithery, smooth,
Right.
cool. You know, he's got the body lean and the body control. He's gymnastic in the air. He can pull sleight of hand. Well, I'm starting to see a little decline in that definition of athleticism.
Right.
I'm not seeing him be able to get to the rim, and he tries to dismiss it as, I'm not getting the foul calls. Well, maybe you're not getting to the rim the way you used to get to the rim. Maybe you're not creating the fouls that you used to create.
He's not, Skip, he's not able to get by guys with that first step as easily, put them in a position. Plus, they're not letting you jump back into the defender and get those calls. He and Trae Young, guys, they did that so well, Skip. They're like, nah, that ain't basketball. If you go into the rim, go to the rim. We're not going to let you stop, jump back into the guy, and give you a call. And that's the thing, Skip. As we start to get older, the weight gets harder to get off.
It does.
And if it's harder to get off at his position,
I agree.
It's very noticeable in his play.
My friend Brian Windhorst at ESPN is saying that James Harden is screaming in every way possible, I don't want to be here, get me out of here. That just turns my stomach once again, because I let you get away with it one time because I thought, it's the Rockets, it's the doldrums. You tried it with Russ, it didn't work. You've never had enough help. But the truth is, you've always been a disaster in the postseason. Mm-hmm. How many times has he melted down? Remember that night against my Spurs, that closeout game at Houston?
Yeah.
They're still
they lost by 30.
For
they lost by 39. I think he scored about 10 points.
They didn't.
Because Kawhi, remember Kawhi had got hurt.
Kawhi wasn't there, and I think Danny Green wasn't there. Yeah. And all of a sudden, that happened. Mm-hmm. And he just flat out went APB disappear, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you love that? You trust that?
I trust that when he's motivated. I trust that he was motivated to get to Brooklyn, and we saw what he did. Skip, he was sensational. And when you get a motivated James Harden,
for a little while,
and
then he got hurt.
Yeah.
He got hurt again. Then he put on a little more weight. And then he put on a little bit more weight. And yet, to me, before I finish off my declaration on this, I will say I don't expect the Nets to trade him because I think the Nets
are losing for nothing.
Okay, I know, but here's their point. Right now, they got a big three that might be the greatest big three on paper in the history of basketball. And because of that, if in fact the vax mandate gets lifted by the new mayor of New York City at some point in the next month or 2 months, is it possible they would have Kyrie for home playoff games? It's possible. They're holding out hope that could be our salvation.
All that information that you just discussed, just spit out, James Harden knows that, and he still wants out.
Okay, I got it. But the Nets are thinking, hey, if we could get Kyrie eligible for home games and we could get KD back almost 100%, because I think he'll come back after the break pretty healthy.
He was free.
He had a sprained knee, right?
He want free. He want out.
Okay.
Let him out, Skip.
Okay. But
holding people against their will.
if somehow you could get James and Kevin and Kyrie back on the court together for one last hurrah, one run, even if it started on the first day of the playoffs, the Nets all the way to the top to that owner, they're saying, why wouldn't we just roll the dice one time? And if we go win it and we lose James, who cares? Because we would have a shot to go win it.
James Harden says, look, I sacrificed. I did everything that you asked me to do. I sacrificed my game. I took the injection, and everybody was supposed to sacrifice. And I thought that's what he's saying. I think that's what we decided to do when you guys came and got me. Who put this team together, by the way? But we'll talk about that another day.
It was that guy. And by the way, it feels like, sounds like, smells like that Kyrie and James have become do not invite them, because it looks like they're going different directions and that they're no longer the clique that seemed like they were for the first week.
Kyrie falls out with everybody. Did you see that in Cleveland? Did you see that in Boston?
I saw.
So what did you expect to have happen in Brooklyn? This is who he is. Something is always going to be on Kyrie's mind.
Okay.
There's always going to be a problem.
All right. Now back to the hypothetical, and we're simplifying something that is going to be very complicated. But if in fact it became just straight up Ben Simmons for James Harden, I'm taking the net side of this because I believe I know what I can get from Ben Simmons. He is really good. He's much better than you give him credit for. He's much more valuable.
James Harden.
Well, in some ways he's better, because he's a much better defender than
James.
Much
better, yes.
Okay? And remember, he is still 6 feet 10 inches tall.
Yeah.
And he was the rookie of the year.
Yeah.
And then he made 3 straight all-star teams, and he made 2 straight all-defensive teams. And he is capable of getting you 40 on any given night. He can do it.
No, on one night he gave you 40.
But he's capable. I've seen him do it several times, 30 or 40
most
points.
nights he's going to give you 14.
Okay? But still, he's got the late-game free throw demons, and I don't care because he's too good of an all-around basketball player. He is a force because he is LeBron-esque in his ability to see it, feel it, and pass the basketball. He can distribute, not quite to LeBron's level because he's the best passer in basketball, except for last night at Portland. But the point is, Ben Simmons can flat out facilitate. He can make you better. And if you put him right now with a Kyrie and a Kevin, I think the fit would be sensational with those 3. I like that better because I'm going to trust Ben Simmons' health and his mental health more than I'm going to trust.
Oh, you trust Ben Simmons' mental health now?
I do. Oh. As far as being a teammate, as far as being winning intangibles. Joel
Embiid called. He'd like to have a conversation with you.
Okay, well, I'm open. He'd have my phone number.
No.
Yeah, you can give it to him.
He said, all this about the ultimate teammate, and he going to do it. No, I can't tell. Joel Embiid said, I said one thing. And now the man don't want to speak to me, don't want to talk to nobody.
They got along just fine for all those years, and they were really good together.
Did they?
Really good.
Did they really get along fine?
But you were the first to say they just threw Ben Simmons flat out right under 5 buses.
They did. They did. I told you what was going to happen. I said, I don't know Ben Simmons. Never had a conversation, never been within 100,000 miles of him. But I know when they said that, what that was going to do. I'm not saying he was right. I'm not saying he's right, because I believe he's like, okay, had to sit down and have a conversation. But knowing him and just observing him and his makeup.
Okay, but from everything you just said about James, if I replace him right now with Ben Simmons, I say the Nets become a much better, more unified, more threatening basketball team in the postseason with Ben Simmons.
You get a guy that wants to be there as opposed to a guy that's a better player that does not.
I got it.
Yes, Ben Simmons would be better. But the better of the 2 players and who I believe would win the trade is the Sixers.
Okay, but I think you're still living in the past, just like the Sixers GM is living in his Houston past. Daryl Morey is trying to remember James, who won MVPs in Houston, that guy that we sometimes call the best perimeter player we've ever seen in the history of the game.
Ben Simmons has never come close to scoring 20 points in a game. James Harden is having a terrible, by his standard, scoring season, and he's giving you 22 points, 8 rebounds, 10 assists.
Okay, but trust me, Ben Simmons would come in and cause no problems, make no waves,
make no shots,
make no free throws. Shots.
What shots?
Come on, I saw him score 42 on Gobert.
You saw that one game. I saw James Harden go like 2 months and score 30 a game. For 2 months, the man averaged 37 a game. You saw that.
Does that guy still exist? You just detailed. He's fat. He's flabby. You're making jokes over there. And now you're saying, remember when? Yeah, I remember when, but it ain't now.
Hey, put it with Joel Embiid in the high pick and roll.
Really?
Woo!
Best big man in basketball, as I told you again and again and again.
In the pick and roll, dribble handoff, James Harden. Oh, Embiid roll to the basket, catch it, boom. Make his life a lot easier.
And then he would have a pulled hamstring.
Now,
and then his hand would hurt.
And
then he'd be belly aching about this and that and the other. And then Doc would have to be saying, don't ask me, go ask James.
I'm not going to say that in 6 months from now you won't have a problem, or next year at some point in time you might have a problem.
So if the Sixers land James Harden, they're going to go win the championship.
I didn't say that.
Shannon
No. Because the best basketball player is in Milwaukee.
Oh.
As I've said at the beginning of the year, when everybody else said it was Kevin Durant, I said the best basketball player is GF, Greek Freak.
The best basketball player is on ice right now with Brooklyn.
Greek Freak.
Yep. I'll take Kevin Durant any day or any night.
Hold on. This is what I know. Giannis don't miss no games.
No, he doesn't. He
plays
plays hard.
He plays no game. And he gives it to you on both ends.
And he's got a really deep roster.
I don't know about no roster. Ooh. I don't know about no rooster. All I'm saying is Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Middleton and Holiday. Are you kidding me?
Whoa.
Ooh, we're talking about all-stars.
Kyrie and James Harden. We're talking about all-stars. We're talking about top 75 player. Yeah, that's what James Harden is. Top 75 all time.
We're talking about all problem, right?
Now you are all problem. You've been hyping the Nets. Oh, the Nets are going to get shattered. It's over. It's over for the Kings.
And didn't it look like it was over last year until there's no Kyrie anymore? And then there's no James.
Trade us, KD.
Huh? KD almost beat Milwaukee by himself last year. He made one of the greatest clutch shots in the history of basketball, and his little toenail was on the three-point line, or we would be having a different conversation.
My guy went to your guy's house, ate up all his food, turned it, emptied the refrigerator out, emptied the ashtray on the floor, and walked out.
Yeah, because
what'd he do?
It took overtime.
That's what my guy did.
Yeah, it took overtime to dump the ashtray.
At least he could have said thank you and peace out. He just hit it with that and just slammed the door and knocked the pitch off the wall.
1-on-5, he did that.
Yeah, so I know a guy that been 1-on-5 for about 3-4 years in Cleveland. You remember him?
If anything happens, I just keep picturing James Harden walking around saying, I want out of here. Like, that's an interesting look. If it pays off, we'll have to see. And then how do you go back to your team if it doesn't? No mercy. Well, as a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, Aaron Donald could retire today and be a Hall of Famer. But the Rams' defensive tackle was also listed atop a recent ranking as the best player in the Super Bowl this weekend against the Bengals, followed by Joe Burrow, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Ramsey, and Matthew Stafford. So, Shannon, I know you've been high on Donald for a while now. Do you agree Donald at number 1?
Yeah, of course. He's the best defensive player in the game. Now, T.J. Watt should win Defensive Player of the Year, but Aaron Donald is the best defensive player in the game. He's been the best defensive player for a decade. 7 straight first-team All-Pros. No other player since the 60s can say that. That's what he has. 3 Defensive Players of the Year. You hear what they said, Skip. They said the best. They didn't say you wanted the most important, the quarterback. But the best, 6'1.5", 280 pounds, nothing but hurricane and tornado. And when he coming, he wrecking shop. And he's in a perfect position. He plays the guard, the under tackle. He's right there at the quarterback's feet. He got to see him. You come up under center, either look right here or you look right there, and you're gonna see 99. He's legit. He's the best player in the game. Obviously legit. Yeah, no, Skip. He's big time. And you wanted that. Skip, look, I get it. You're like, well, he doesn't show up this. No. Yeah, when you got 2 All-Pros against 1 All-Pro, yeah, you probably should neutralize it. But one-on-one, you're gonna see. You're gonna see Sunday. He's the best player in the game. I'm not surprised. If I'm not mistaken, it might have been. I think that when they played the Patriots, I think he was either 1 or 2 behind Tom Brady. I think Brady might have been 1 and he was 2. But there ain't very many games that he's going into, Skip, that he's not the best player on the field. There's not very many games. On the field, regardless of position.
On the field, regardless.
Regardless of position. That's how I feel about him.
Okay, Mr. Sharpe, you are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, so I have a question back for you. If right here, right now, just hypothetically, if you told Sean McVay, sorry, but you can have only one player on Sunday. You can have Matthew Stafford or Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
He'd obviously give me Aaron Donald? Is that what he would say?
No, because Aaron Donald's not going to touch the ball 75% of the 70 times.
Well, then how can you rank him number one in
Because
value?
they say he's the best, not the most important. The best. You rank him. Aaron, let me ask you a question.
The best is the most important.
No. Let me ask you this.
Then he's not the best.
Let me ask you this. Is Aaron Donald better at his position or is Matthew Stafford better at his position? Name a defensive tackle better than him. I can name you 5 quarterbacks right now better than Matthew Stafford.
Is Aaron Donald more valuable than Matthew Stafford?
They didn't say
Absolutely.
They didn't say value. See, I knew you was going to do that. They said the best, not most valuable. They're two different arguments.
Pro Football Focus begins its little capsule on number one Aaron Donald by saying the two quarterbacks are slightly more valuable based on the position they play.
Thank you.
Thank me is right. Case closed. And they're not slightly, they're 5 times more valuable. Aaron Donald disappears way too much. I've watched 5 games in which you're maybe the greatest defensive player ever against my Dallas Cowboys. 5 times I've watched every snap closely. And in 4 of those games, I sat back and said, was Aaron Donald hurt today? I don't remember him. 99, whatever happened to him?
Was he single to double?
He had little tiny numbers like he'd have 2 assisted tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 hit on the quarterback. He had 1 sack in 5 games against my Cowboys. And you can say, he plays inside. I don't care. Then don't put him number 1. If he plays inside, he should dominate. He should blow up double teams and knock the quarterback on his tail.
Let me ask you a question. If I took Deion Sanders and Darrelle Revis, or I took Deion Sanders and Rod Woodson, or let's just say I took Deion Sanders and Jalen Ramsey, and I lined them up and says, okay, you guys got Jerry Rice. How much impact do you think Jerry's going to have?
Who? On Deion on Jerry?
On Deion and Jalen Ramsey. I'm saying y'all two. Y'all got Jerry Rice. Jalen Ramsey and Deion Sanders are responsible for Jerry Rice. How many catches do you think he has?
Okay, wait a second. Why would we have 2 on 1?
Because that's what you had. You had Zach Martin and Travis Frederick dealing with Aaron Donald. That's why his numbers were like they were.
I know, but the point is, if I put just Deion on Jerry Rice, he would have 2 or 3 catches. Just Deion.
Yes.
The stories are legendary from San Francisco practices in which he made Jerry Rice cry on the sidelines because he couldn't get open in practice.
But let me ask you a question. So if that was the case...
So to me, Deion's more valuable than Jerry Rice. That's just me.
Let me ask you a question. So why did they double team him? If you got Zach Martin, who's going to the Hall of Fame, you shouldn't have to have Travis Frederick to help him.
I don't know that they did double him.
Okay.
I'm just not sure about that. But back to my premise, if you ask Sean McVay today, you told him, I'm sorry, this is how it's going to come down on Sunday. You can either have Aaron Donald or Matthew Stafford. He would laugh out loud and say, thank you, I'll take Matthew Stafford. But by your premise, he would say, I'll take John Walford, my backup. Remember, he started the game up in Seattle, the playoff game. No, he's not going to take John Walford over Matthew Stafford.
Hold on, let me ask you a question. Now, you just said best player. Now, the MVP last year was who? Nikola Jokic. You said Joel Embiid is a better player. So 2 things can be true, right? So one can be a better player. The other is the MVP.
No, I thought Embiid was the MVP.
No, but he wasn't.
Only one thing was true.
Well, who got the award?
I didn't get to vote.
Because
I was right.
So let me ask you a question. So when Michael Jordan was not winning MVP, and Karl Malone got it, and Larry Bird got it, and Magic Johnson got it?
That's called jealousy.
Oh, Lord. See, Skip, at some point in time, you can't have an excuse for every argument. You got to say, just give him the credit.
Okay, so here's Pro Football Focus's final line in its capsule on Aaron Donald, number 1. He led all defensive interior players with an incredible 23% pass rush win rate. So 23% of the time as he was trying to rush the passer, he got loose and got free and got home and either hit the quarterback or sacked the quarterback or disrupted the throw somehow.
Yes, made him throw. Yes.
Okay, 23%. And I'm thinking, only 23%, which leads to my sack total. So Aaron Donald wound up the year with 12.5 sacks. that ranked tied for 7th in the NFL.
Yeah.
And you're the best defensive
As a
player.
defensive tackle?
As a defensive tackle.
many
Now you're disqualified because T.J. Watt had 22 and a half.
He's on the edge.
T.J. Watt, well, why don't you put Aaron Donald? You've been telling me they move him all around.
They
You
do.
told me yesterday.
They do.
They put him on the edge. And what happens on the edge? I guess not much.
Hold on.
Because T.J. Watt had 10 more sacks than Aaron Donald.
On the Skip. He's on the open edge.
10 more sacks.
Skip.
Robert Quinn had 18 and a half.
On the edge.
Micah Parsons had more sacks.
On the edge.
Micah Parsons had more
Give me the
sacks than
D-tackles.
Aaron Donald.
Give me the D tackles. Give me the D tackles that had those numbers. I've seen Aaron Donald have 20 and a half sacks as a DT.
You told me yesterday, I'm quoting the great Shannon Sharpe, they're moving him all around.
They do.
Okay.
Skip, he doesn't line up. How many times do you see T.J. Watt line up over the guard or line up over the center?
I seen Micah line up over the guard. Unfortunately, he's standing up, but he's lining up over the center.
First of all, do not ever put Micah Parsons and Aaron Donald in the same sentence.
Here, let me do it again.
Disrespectful.
Micah Parsons plus Aaron Donald in the same sentence. Thank you. Strike me with
you
lightning if you want.
That's very disrespectful.
Yeah.
That is very disrespectful,
No,
and you know it.
It is not. It's the truth. He belongs in the same sentence.
No. Okay, he belongs in the same book. The end.
Micah can be more disruptive, more of a factor, more of a game wrecker than Aaron Donald can be from the defensive tackle.
I tell you what you do. Jerry Jones would trade Micah Parsons and a first-round pick to get Aaron Donald right now.
I don't believe that.
Right now. Michael Parsons is good. He can't touch Aaron Donald.
I'm seeing it.
He's
a rookie.
If you hope.
Aaron Donald's in his 8th year.
And 7-time first-team All-Pro. 3-time Defensive Player of the Year in 8 seasons.
Well, I think Mike is off to the races because he's right on track, right? He's right on path.
If Michael Parsons have half the career as Aaron Donald, he should thank him.
Well,
he should fall his knees and thank God. If he has half the career.
Micah, wherever you are, drop to your knees right now and thank God that you're off to the races on at least as great a career as we've seen Aaron Donald have.
You do realize that Aaron Donald won Rookie of the Year also. 10 and a half.
I think he's really good. I just don't think he's anywhere near the best player in this Super Bowl.
Think about this, Skip. Think about this. You're the only one. Everybody else, you love Pro Football Focus until they give you information you don't like. And then all of a sudden, well, how can this be? Now, when you like the information, this is how it can be.
I'm objective.
No. So think about it.
I mean, I say what I like and what I don't like.
How can you say these evaluators? These are very smart people.
Let's go back to Pro Football Focus, shall we?
Yes.
They have now graded Joe Burrow as a little better than Tom Brady after you put his playoffs on top of the regular season.
You should.
Because off the regular season, it was Brady all day and all night, which is why Brady should be the MVP, and he won't be. Tonight is the announcement
tonight.
Okay. Do you have some inside information?
No, I don't have no inside.
You had the Matt Ryan inside. Somebody told you. Yes, you did. So it's going to be, you're all about the Aarons, and you're wrong. I proved you wrong about the first Aaron, as in Rodgers, and now I'm going to prove you wrong about the second Aaron, as in Donald.
I told you Aaron Rodgers was going to win MVP.
Okay, he's going to.
After week 5, I said, Skip, you count him out.
My point is, now Pro Football Focus grades Joe Burrow as the best quarterback in pro football. So just me, right here, right now, if you gave me a choice, if I have to have a fantasy team in this Super Bowl, and you say you can have either Joe Burrow or Aaron Donald, I'm taking Joe Burrow like times 100.
Skip. He's played the quarterback position.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, he's more valuable. But they didn't say most valuable. They said the best. Sometimes there's a more valuable, but that doesn't make him the best.
Guess he can stop the run. I'll give you that.
Oh my goodness! Hold on. Now all
Way to go, Aaron.
Now all of a sudden you got the utmost respect for Matthew Stafford. You done beat Matthew Stafford up for 12 years. No, let me take that back. For 13 years.
Yeah, I have. I'm glad you brought that up. And I'd still take Matt Stafford over Aaron Donald any Sunday, including Super Bowl.
And you'll have to take him on Monday too when he's a Super Bowl champ.
Okay, well maybe I will.
Hey, no, maybe.
Okay. All right. Who's the odds-on favorite to win the MVP? It's Matthew Stafford. Thank you.
And
it's not Aaron Donald to win the MVP.
Think
it's
about
Matthew Stafford.
Guess what? Who's third? Who's the third favorite?
I don't know.
Aaron Donald.
Oh.
Over Jamar Chase.
Okay, I'll do this right here, right now.
I think Cooper Kupp is third, and AD.
I will bet you 5 cases of Diet Mountain Dew right now that Aaron Donald will not be the MVP.
No, it's going to have to be a quarterback. It's going to have to be a
5
quarterback.
cases.
It's going to have to be a quarterback.
Thank you. Next question.
Okay, next question. It's got to be a QB, and we will wait and see what plays out on Sunday.
No mercy.
Well, despite not playing in last night's loss, the latest reports point to Russell Westbrook staying with the Lakers at today's trade deadline. The decision also reportedly lies with LeBron, who has often been coined as LA's secret GM and could make a push to shake up the roster. So, Shannon, we're just a few hours away right now. Does Russell Westbrook get traded today?
I'm going to say no. But he's in the loneliest place in the world, a place where he's not wanted. And unfortunately for him, Skip, it's even lonelier, because guess what? Nobody else wants him either. Someone would be willing to take him for the assets that the Lakers would be asked to throw in. They don't necessarily want him. They want the assets that comes along with taking him off their hands.
Yep.
And that's what it's become. You see, Russell will never look into the mirror, take responsibility for his flaws. He only sees the guy from yesterday, not the guy of today. And that's a bad place to be, Skip. And it's sad what it's come to, because he doesn't realize, and a lot of times, sometimes we're smart enough to realize that I'm not the man that I once was. But Russ only sees yesterday's Russ, the guy that was high-flying MVP, All-NBA. That's what he sees. No, Skip. I mean, a team can't even talk themselves. What are you getting him for? You can't say, you know what, if I add this piece, championship, could it help us contend? Nobody. That's what's so baffling to me, Skip. And I thought about it when I first heard the trade. I was trying to wrap my mind. What other team thinks Russ is a missing piece for a championship? One team, the Lakers, convinced themselves that Russ was a missing piece, because if AD's out, LeBron and Russ. If Bron is out, AD and Russ.
So what percent of the blame do you assign, as Jenny said, the secret GM LeBron for acquiring Russ?
The same amount of blame that I assigned Kevin Durant for putting Kyrie and James Harden in Brooklyn. How much are we going to give him?
Kevin Durant's a follower, not a leader. He followed Kyrie to Brooklyn.
Hey,
he wanted to go to the Knicks.
Who wanted James Harden? The reports are Woj. If the Woj or Brian Windhorst says it was Kevin Durant.
No. James wanted to go to Brooklyn, and Kevin and Kyrie signed off on it like, yeah, James, we'll take James.
Let me ask you a question. If Kevin Durant says, no, we don't want James Harden, is James Harden in Brooklyn?
No, but he said yes, and Kyrie said yes, but James wanted to go in the first place.
Let me ask you a question. If Kevin Durant says, look, Kyrie's not going to get the vaccination, he can't be with us. Why is he back?
Okay, well, why are we changing the subject off the subject
because what you're trying
because you kept telling me that the Buddy Hield deal was in place.
It was in place. It was.
And it got vetoed, it sounds like, by the secret GM, who's really not very secret.
First of all, I don't know if it was vetoed. I don't know if they said, okay, we have the Buddy Hield deal in place. I believe the Buddy Hield deal was in place because Kyle Kuzma says, I was going to Sacramento. And then the next day they says, hold up, there's going to be a change of plan. You're going to Washington. Maybe Rob ran it by AD and LeBron, and it's like, yeah, maybe that was the case.
It has been widely reported that LeBron pushed for Russ.
Well, it's been widely reporting that he's possibly pushing him out the door. You make a mistake, what do? You wallow in it, or you try to rectify the mistake?
You rectify.
Okay, then.
My ultimate question after watching that pathetic effort last night in Portland is this situation fixable?
No, I don't believe it is this year.
Okay, it may not be. So maybe there's no fix, because I would have told you 24 hours ago before I watched that mess last night in Portland, I would have said, and I did say to you repeatedly from this chair, you have to get out from under Russ at any price, at any cost. If you have to pay to get rid of him, it will still be addition by subtraction, which is why I still favor the John Wall scenario, because John Wall is a clutch client. So at least he's in the fold with LeBron and Rich Paul, and he would be much less of a threat.
He ain't in no fold with no LeBron. That's Rich client. Will you stop saying that?
LeBron runs.
No,
clutch.
LeBron does not. LeBron got enough business endeavors to start worrying about
LeBron not fund it to start it? Yes, he did.
Yeah, okay. Hold on. There are a lot of people that got funded to start businesses that we don't say, oh, that guy funded it, so he's the owner.
Is Clutch not owned and operated by LeBron?
No, it's
James?
owned and operated by Rich Paul.
I don't think so, but whatever. At least they would be in cahoots where they could all get together and say it has to be this way. I've been around John Wall enough to know that he's a much better guy than Russ is. The problem with Russ is he is as delusional a sports figure as I've ever encountered. And I don't know him personally, but just from a distance, if you put Russell Westbrook on a lie detector right here, right now, I believe he would tell you he's the greatest player in the history of the game. And believe it, with all he could pass the lie detector. Seriously, because he averaged a triple-double for the last 5 years. And I have written him off from the start since his early days with KD as nothing but a solo act of a stat machine. And he is the ultimate stat machine who's now losing a little bit of his athleticism, so he can't play much defense and almost no defense.
Right.
And he can't stat quite the way he used to stat.
Right.
Because he's always been a poor shooter. He's always been a poor three-point shooter, but he wasn't always the poorest free throw shooter, and now he's double poor.
So now he's poor. So when you think about what you said, he was a poor shooter, a poor free throw shooter, a poor three-point shooter, combined with the most turnovers. That's a recipe for disaster.
Okay, he got away with it playing in the shadows of Oklahoma City with no KD, and he got away with it in Houston, and he got away with it in the shadows of the Wizards.
With no expectations.
With no expectations because he was a sideshow of a gate attraction. So Bobby Marks at ESPN has proposed a deal with the Knicks in which you would get back a Cam Reddish. I like Cam Reddish. Would he change your life this year? I doubt it.
No.
But he's a good player. He's just he's a nice player.
Right.
Out of Duke, obviously, and if you gave him a little more leeway, if you gave him a more prominent role, I think he could be pretty good, but he's not going to change your life. But the point is, would the Knicks really take Russ back just because they're giving up on the season and they need to sell tickets? Would he be a circus act at Madison Square Garden every night that people would pay to see?
Right.
Let's see if Russ can get another.
No, we're going to hold on to him. You know what, Skip? I believe Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss would have been with you on your side had they won this game last night. I'm just going to hold on to him and try to ride it out. He'll be on an expiring contract in the summer, and I'm going to say, okay, here's an expiring contract.
Okay, but you still owe him the one more at 47. It's an expiring contract, but you might have to eat it.
I believe teams will be more apt to probably take it on this summer as opposed to the middle of the season. They'll start assessing where they are, what they believe they can be come next season, and then I think it's more feasible or greater likely that you're likely a chance that you can be able to move him in the summer.
Okay, so the ultimate question is, are the Lakers salvageable right now? Are they fixable right now?
No.
If you do by addition by subtraction, you get rid of Russ right now, even however it is, to the Knicks or the Rockets, whoever it is, you just get out from under him. Would it suddenly clarify? Would the smoke clear? Would the fog clear that LeBron discussed last night?
Yep.
And suddenly they would all snap out of it and start playing some real live Lakers basketball instead of Fakers basketball.
AD gave you 17 and 7 with no offensive rebounds. LeBron has 6 turnovers. No, they're not salvageable. You was talking about playoffs. I say, Skip, they can hope for the play-in. That's what they're hoping for. That's what they are. That is who they are. You're 56 games in. You can't fool anybody.
Okay, so are you ready to admit that LeBron just can't hack it anymore? He can't lift a pretty good team into the playoffs?
As you get older, no. Just like Tom Brady couldn't hack it. Now, hold on. The guy just retired. Now, all of a sudden, there's a possibility swirling around. He might want to get traded somewhere else. But damn, how much talent you need, Tom? It was up for the longest time. Nobody does more with less. Now Tom Brady needs more to do more.
He went in a pandemic to a team that was 7-9.
Loaded. They were loaded.
Were they?
They were loaded.
Did they suddenly get loaded because they suddenly had the GOAT at quarterback?
So let me ask you a question. Did they trade for Mike Evans? What about Chris Godwin? What about Cameron Brate?
They were all there the year before, and they went 7-9.
Because why? Jameis Winston turned the ball over 35 times. You know, you do realize Jameis Winston in that same offense threw for 5,200 yards. So this notion, in 16 games. Tom Brady threw for 5,300 in 17 games. So how many yards would Jameis have thrown for in 17 games? 5,500? So
how many times would he have turned it over?
That's my point. Tom Brady did not turn the ball over. But the notion that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were not talented is just not true. You know that, I know that.
There are a lot of talented teams in the National Football Leagues that are losers. And right now, if you look at what he did with a losing team, that they had the losingest reputation that by even statistically in the history
Take care of the ball.
Of the league.
Take care of the ball.
Yeah.
So no, LeBron James cannot take janitors and contractors and elevate them to a playoff team. No, he can't do that. Wow. Damn, LeBron. Man, you mean to tell me you can't take lesser tier guys and go to a championship? No, not in year 19 anymore, Shannon. Can't do that.
He's got a top 10 player alongside an AD.
Hold on. On which night? Was he a top 10 player last night?
Yeah.
Well, he blocked 5 shots. That'll work.
The man had, in 41 minutes, he had 17 points and 7 rebounds. None on the offensive end.
The Lakers made 17
he needs to
threes.
step up too.
The point, Skip, the point, what has been, you covered AD as long as I have. What has been the knock on AD? Some nights, he gives you 35 and 17. Some nights, he gives you 17 and 7. The consistency. Yeah. That's the only thing that people have questioned about AD. Not his ability. He has top 5 ability. 6'10" and a half, feathery, smooth, long, can defend, can finish around the rim. He can do all that.
The Lakers right now, I wish there was a solution. We've been talking about them for weeks, and unfortunately, it's the same situation, almost worse at this point. But that is the reality.
No mercy. They just redefined the word Brazilian.
We're not done yet.
Los Angeles is going to Super Bowl 56.
Joe Burrow's going to have 99 problems, and AD is it. He's the real deal.
There's something about this kid
He leaps. He's got it.
that I really, really like.
You become immortal in this game. Somebody's about to change the way we look at them forever.
This is our shot. You're playing the Rams in their building? The stage has gotten bigger.
We're going to be rocking in SoFi. SoFi going to be SoFi.
It's showtime.
I don't know about you guys, but that just got me excited. That was awesome. Loved it. Kickoff just a few days away. Matthew Stafford and Joe Burrow will both be experiencing the Super Bowl as newcomers. The 34-year-old Stafford will be looking to cement his legacy, while the 25-year-old Burrow is just getting started. However, Pro Football Focus is giving the edge to the second-year player over the veteran. Shannon, which QB would you rather have right now? Be honest, Stafford or Burrow?
Matthew Stafford. He's been dialed into the playoffs.
You don't believe that.
Oh, yes, I do. Because, hold on. Pro Football Focus said that Burrow, Pro Football Focus also put out the QBR for the postseason. Did you realize that Matthew Stafford is 21 points higher than Joe Burrow? If Matthew Stafford had this very QBR.
I don't think Pro Football Focus put that out. That would be an ESPN thing, but go ahead. Oh, it's okay.
So he 20. So is 68 better than 47? Oh, okay. That's all I needed to know.
Yeah.
Case
closed.
No.
Yeah.
You always want to show Matthew Stafford bad throws. Talk about he threw the ball behind Cooper Kupp and Tart. I don't know what he saw, but he had it on a silver platter.
Hit him right in the breadbasket and
10
could
points.
not hold on.
Were the 49ers down 10? They came back and won, right? 366, 2 tubs in Tampa Bay. In Tom Brady's house, put butts in him.
Yep.
Beat him so bad, made him retire. Beat him twice in 1 year, just to make sure, because the first time you thought it was a fluke. That's what you told me. We're going to see what Coach McYay, he running down the sideline. This rubs me the wrong way.
It does. Glad you listened to what I said.
Yeah. And then he blew out your other guy. You know, he just putting foots in all your guys. Kyler did a number on him. Tampa Bay did a number on him. You ain't had emotion for Jimmy G. You just wanted, Jimmy Gag. And now he finna finish it off. He's played very well. Skip, you do realize that, give him credit, but the Bengals, that loss was more about the Chiefs than the Bengals. Because, Joe Burrow only had 1 touchdown in the second half in overtime. He had 1 touchdown, responsible for 1 touchdown. He did throw a pick in the second half. For this game, I'm not saying moving forward, but I'm saying for this game, I'm going to take Matthew Stafford. This game. I'm not talking about next year. I'm not talking about the year after. for this game, I'm taking Matt Stafford.
Okay, before I answer Jenny's question, as we were going to break, you said sarcastically, I want Dak Prescott.
I do.
Well, then, my touche would be, I want Aaron Rodgers for the Super Bowl, right?
Oh, there you go.
Wait, I want my homeboy for the Super Bowl. Wait, he's not there, right?
Hold on.
Oh, you know who I want? I want Carson Wentz for the Super Bowl. Whatever happened to Carson Wentz?
Hold on. Time out.
All your guys, they've all failed.
I mean,
everyone, I'm right down the line.
And your quarterback made more money than all three of them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Think about that, $75 million.
And I first guessed that. I said that's way too much. I told you, nope. I wanted my team to say, cut bait, let's go with Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. when he was a free agent.
Do you actually think Tom Brady played for your Cowboys?
Yes, I do. America's team, he would love that silver and blue,
him and Jerry.
those big stars on the helmet.
Him and Jerry be just like this.
Yep. He would tell Jerry to go home and lock the door and don't bother me anymore, right? Now, back to Jenny's real question. Which quarterback would I take? It ain't even close. There is something about Joe Burrow that is special, beyond anything Matthew Stafford has ever hoped and dreamed for. I'm taking him because this is his first year of starting, and he has taken off. Because even if you look at the end of his season, it was December 26th, not that long ago, day after Christmas, he threw for 525 against your Baltimore Ravens. 525. Followed it up on January the 2nd against my homeboy's team, Spagnuolo's defense, threw for 446 against Kansas City. He has taken off. He did something I did not see coming. He went to Tennessee and he beat Vrabel's team. That's impossibly great. I thought they were just a lock to just segue right into the Super Bowl with 2 home wins in Nashville. And Joe Burrow went and said no. And then Joe Burrow went to my homeboy and outplayed my homeboy in that game. Even with his legs, he outplayed him. And here he is in the Super Bowl. And if you look at his season, he led the NFL in completion percentage at 70%. He also led in yards per attempt, which is pretty great for a kid starting in his first year. I believe that the Bengals are following this kid to SoFi in ways that the Rams don't follow Matthew Stafford, because in the end, they know what everybody else knows. Matthew Stafford's got the haywire gene in him. Matthew Stafford, little known fact, led the NFL in interceptions this year with 17. 17?
Yeah.
And you're saying you're trusting him more than Joe
In this
Burrow?
game, yes.
In this game?
Yes.
Really? Huh, interesting. So Matt Stafford threw 4 pick sixes this year. It's hard to do. 4?
Yep.
4 pick sixes. And as you mentioned, he was late and behind Cooper Kupp against San Francisco and put them in a hole that he was very fortunate to dig out of.
That's because he liked that.
He was down 17-14, and he threw it to Tart. It tasted tart. It was right in his hands, right in his gut. And he watched it come in, and it probably hung up in the air for like 8 minutes, he thought. And all of a sudden, it hit his hands, and he forgot how to catch because he saw Super Bowl flash before his very eyes.
Yeah.
Tart knew that if I just hang on to this one little football that's thrown right to me, we are going to play in this stadium in the Super Bowl. And he couldn't hang on.
Skip.
And you were so lucky that he didn't hang on.
Unfortunately, Skip, you're being a palm prisoner of moment. And you need to stop it.
Oh, boy, that's a lot of moments when you lead the league in interceptions.
Whoa. Playoffs. Let's talk about the playoffs. It has Matthew Stafford is 315 yards away from breaking Eli's most passing yards in a postseason in NFL history. Can I interest you in that?
And 44 of them came on a decoy route run by Cooper Bleepin' Kupp. A blitz that didn't blitz by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If only Brady could have played safety that day.
Yeah,
if only he had been standing back there, he would have made the play.
Had only Brady done something in the first half. Had only Brady not gotten down 27-3. Had only Brady.
If only Brady hadn't scored 24 unanswered in the second half and threw for 125 in the fourth quarter alone and hit Mike Evans with the sweetest dime, which became the last touchdown pass of his
So you're not going to
career.
say anything about those fumbles that Cam Akers and Cooper Kupp and the center snapping the ball over his head.
Yep.
So what role did Brady play in that?
It's because you know you got the GOAT and they don't.
And Matthew Stafford says, I'm the GOAT today. He said, hey, Tom Brady, look at me. Look at me, Irish. I'm the captain. I'm the captain in Tampa now. 2 plays, field goal, boom, walk it off. Tom said, he's got all the... I said, Skip, I've never seen Tom so dejected. I've never heard him talk in those terms. Matthew Stafford said, I heard what Skip Bayless said. Skip Bayless said it was a fluke that I beat him early in the season. So let me tell you what I'm going to do now. I'm going to put something on him. And I'm going to make it hurt so bad, he gonna ponder retirement. That's what Matthew Stafford did
Is
to him.
that what he did?
Yeah.
I don't think he was thinking that at all. Matt Stafford spent all those many years in the shadows in Detroit, but he had this receiver. Some people think he might have been the greatest receiver ever.
Right.
It's called Megatron.
Your guy had him as number 1 receiver?
With Megatron, where, in New England?
Yes.
A number 1 receiver.
Ran him off.
Oh, he had him for about 15 minutes.
He had him for a year and a half.
Yeah. Whew. I look at the record of when Matthew Stafford in Detroit, he went 74-90-1.
Right.
74-90?
Right.
Ooh, God. That's 16 games under 500. That's not goatish.
No.
Right?
Skip, I know you ain't been watching it, but I've been watching the Janet Jackson documentary. First 2 albums were terrible. She got with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and look at her. Rhythm Nation, Pleasure Principle. We're part of the Rhythm Nation. Don't talk about Detroit. We're in L.A. so fine on Sunday. You're going to be upset on Monday.
I'm surprised we didn't get just struck by lightning right there, because you just uttered a blasphemous statement. You just put Matthew Stafford in the same sentence with Janet Jackson.
I'm just saying.
Blasphemy.
Early on.
Utter.
Early on. Didn't have the right pieces around her.
Oh.
Yeah, she said, I'm in control.
Oh. Huh.
5,
I think
4,
she would have
3,
rose and
2,
shown
1.
without anybody around her. She would have figured it out.
Don't make me pull my chair out here. Jen, I know you when I pull my chair out here, be dancing like you get all black, my cap on.
I thought Ray Lewis said you couldn't dance. That's what he said.
Matthew Stafford gonna be dancing on Sunday night. I can see his wife Kelly coming down those stairs right now. Let me down. My husband wanted.
He should be dancing, because he's got a superstar receiver in Odell, and he's got the greatest receiver statistically in the history of football in Cooper Kupp, and he's got clearly an offensive line that's like 100 times better than Cincinnati's, and he's got the best player in the Super Bowl in Aaron Donald.
The Bengals should win this.
How can you not win that game?
The Bengals should win this game because they already got the guy that's better than Tom Brady. Everybody that I've heard, Joe Burrow is better than Tom Brady. That's what everybody been telling me, Tom Brady. Now, I remember, I ain't gonna even go there. You know what? We're gonna talk about this a little later, but I just tried to figure out when. I remember when Tom Brady won a Super Bowl, ain't nobody mentioned Joe Montana. He won 2 Super Bowls, ain't nobody mentioned Joe Montana. He won 3. Even when he won his 4th Super Bowl, nobody said that Tom Brady was better than Joe Montana. Joe Burrow hadn't even won the Super Bowl, and people already got the comparison. Tom Brady with 5 Super Bowls. They're like, I don't know, because Joe never threw an interception. He never lost a Super Bowl. Joe Burrow just got there. And he already Tom Brady.
What did you see Joe Burrow do in college at LSU?
I saw a lot of people do a lot of things in college.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
Did you see what he did against Georgia? In the
Did you see what Mac Jones did in college? Did you see what Mac Jones did to Ohio State?
He didn't do what Joe Burrow did to Georgia, then Oklahoma, then Clemson.
He did it.
18 touchdowns to no interceptions.
Man, Mac Jones had 3 picks the whole year.
And ran for 2 more?
Yeah.
It was the greatest stretch of quarterback play in the history of college football on the biggest stages, and it will translate.
I'm still not taking him over Matthew Stafford on Sunday.
Yeah,
now, I tried to make it crystal clear to you, Skip. I said Sunday. I ain't say nothing about Monday moving forward. I said Sunday night, 6:30, 3:30 Pacific time.
It's just because you love your protege, Odell Beckham Jr. It's okay. It's okay.
Hold on.
Heart overhead. No. Heart overhead.
Now, I'm going to see how you're going to have to ride this thing. You're going to be rooting for the Bengals. The Bengals.
Yeah.
No, moving forward, because that's your guy. You've hitched your wagon to Joe Burrow.
I didn't hitch my wagon.
Yeah, you did. Oh, yes, you did. That's Joe Burrow.
To me.
No, he did.
Yeah, he did. I told you earlier, I was the first one to market with this. I said, that kid is the closest thing to Brady left in pro football. What about Mahomes? What about Josh Allen? What about...
Big stage.
Okay, we're going to see.
Yeah.
We are going to see. We are going to see it on Sunday, and then Monday, I'm just going to sit back and watch you guys, and I cannot wait for it.
No mercy.
Well, LeBron turned the ball over 6 times in last night's 107-105 loss to the Blazers. And after the game, he discussed how the Lakers' struggles and trade rumors are weighing on him and the team. Take a listen.
It's just something that's weighing on this group that we're trying to all, get through. Almost feels like it's, like fog. Just fog in the air, and we're all trying to see what's on the other side of it. And, obviously I take today, take tomorrow like any other day, and if something changes, then I'll approach it. But I'm literally I'm tired as hell right now. I just want to get some wine and get into bed and wake up tomorrow and feel good about what tomorrow has in store. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens as far as the deadline. But other than that, I'm kind of just focused on what we can do to be better.
I agree. I want some wine too, but for different reasons. Shannon, what do you make of his comments?
He knows the season is slipping away. He's frustrating. He's frustrated that he lost the game, that even though he is tired, him and Anthony Davis was supposed to deliver that victory, Skip. Yeah, he's coming off an injury in which he missed. They went 1-4 in the 5 games that he missed. And then it's games back, 40, 35, 37 minutes his last 3 games. Yeah, he's tired. But I think the most frustrating thing is that he's looking, he says there's a fog in the air, and we're just trying to wait to see what's on the other side. What's on the other side is a very disappointing season. And LeBron knows it. He knows he spoke very candidly about this. I'm closer to the end than I am the beginning. And these opportunities don't present themselves very often. They're not going anywhere this year. They're not championship contenders. They're not playoff contenders. And he knows that. It's like I've been in games, Skip, and then you feel the momentum change and you feel the game start to slip away. I've been in seasons. We need to win a game, and we're right there. And as the other team starts to surge, you just drop your head like, damn, where did it go wrong? And then you start playing back all the games that were close that you could have won that you didn't win. LeBron James sees his season. It's like a movie, Skip. He's actually in it, but he can actually see how it's playing out also. This is as frustrated as I've seen him. I've followed his career since he's been in the NBA. Sounds like a defeated man at this point. That's what it sounded like to me. And he's like, guys, I don't really know what else to tell you. I'm going to get some wine, get my butt in the bed. He got the NBA got the All-Star Game draft. Today, the 10th. Today is the 10th?
Not sure.
I think they got the draft today, but it's tough. It's tough. He's playing well offensively. Last night, notwithstanding, even though he had outstanding numbers, the turnovers really doomed that performance that he had.
I'm sorry, I have no sympathy for his plight. He has had a hand in some of his plight.
Yeah.
He is showing some aging that is diluting his ability to carry a team by himself. A team that has some pretty good pieces left, but he can't lift it up.
Right.
And that's back-to-back nights in which he delivered what I considered a concession speech on the year.
Yeah.
This is where I don't love him when it comes to leadership. This is where I've disqualified him from the start as the GOAT, as you call him, and I say no, phony GOAT, because you can be a better leader than this. This team is looking to you to salvage what's left, and instead, you just throw up your hands and basically say, we're done. That's what he did after the Milwaukee game, and that's what he did last night. I'm tired as hell. Well, you did just get a 5-game break, so I get that you're playing high minutes, but you're tired as hell. So is everybody else. And fog, there's a fog over every team coming to the trade deadline, and nobody wants to hear about it because there are always rumors and speculation.
Man, ain't nobody talking about no trades with Golden State, with Phoenix, with Chicago.
Sure they are. Sure they are.
No, ain't nobody talking about no trade with that.
Yeah, we could get this, we could get that.
No, they good.
They always do. They reload, they beef up, they try to slightly improve by making a move at the trade deadline, and somebody, the 8th or 9th man, might be gone. It's a fog that LeBron has lived with for 19 years, and now you're making an excuse. There's a fog hanging over this team. Well, it's a pall. It's not a fog. It's a pall, as in on the way to your own funeral, Paul, because there's no life to it. The life has to emanate from the best player, and LeBron is still the best player. Shouldn't be, because going into this game, I thought, I'm going into this season, I thought AD would be, and I think you did too.
Yeah, Skip, it's not close, though.
Okay, and still LeBron is the best player. And then in the shock of shocks, LeBron effectively played one of the worst games of his career under the circumstance, because you had the golden moment, the opportunity to show the world we're so much better without that guy. And that guy sitting down at the end of the bench in a bright orange shirt, looked like a cone, right? in a cap, and he's chewing, he's blowing bubbles, and he's wearing a look at me shirt. I'm down at the end of the bench.
Right.
And I don't know why he didn't play last night, but I find it hard to believe that it was because he had a tightening in his lower back. I know he
noticed it on Tuesday.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, you got benched the last 3 minutes of the third quarter and the whole fourth quarter against the Bucks, and you were not happy.
The worst thing you could do for a back, Skip, is sit for long periods of time. Okay. We both had bad backs.
Okay, so you got me. Maybe that was it, but I doubt it.
I doubt it also.
And then you theorized, and this would be like the best case scenario, did you put him on ice last night because he's about to be traded? Well, glory be. I hope so, because I still think that's your last gasp to turn this season around, is addition by subtraction. Just get rid of him at any cost, at any price. But LeBron last night had the golden moment, the golden opportunity to say, watch what we can do without him. And what did LeBron do? When it came to turnovers, he turned into Westbrook.
Yeah, he was bad.
I've never seen.
Yeah.
I still say
some of those turnovers, Skip, I'd never seen him have turnovers like that.
Well, speaking of that, we often do.
No, we don't need to do it, Skip. Don't do it. Skip, we don't need to do it. We saw it earlier.
I think we need to see a Westbrookian LeBron last night with 6 turnovers. Oh, we got the clown music.
You terrible, Skip.
LeBron, what was that? That went to like 3 Trailblazers. LeBron, that's just loss of concentration. LeBron, come on, that's Westbrookian right there. And then LeBron, that was a good idea. Just he threw a
little too hard.
Yeah. LeBron, are you engaged or not? Whoops. No, he's not focused. He's not there. He's mad.
Just keep it.
I don't know. Why would he just go dunk it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And tie the ball game up.
Yeah.
Might get an and one.
That was a huge late turnover. That came with 1:50.
Because guess what happened, Skip?
They were down 2.
They were down 3, and he come back and Simons hit a 3-pointer and put them down 5.
5, okay. And then if we could see another golden moment, this came with 44.9 seconds left. LeBron has a little right-handed layup, and this was Westbrookian. If we could see this, he drives it, and he's just going to score. He always scores that, and he just left it a little short.
Yep.
And instead of going down to play defense, he just stays on that end. And guess what happens? Dennis Smith bailed him out because Dennis Smith tries some shot. I don't know what this was, and it had no chance, didn't even get up on top of the rim. And guess who cherry picks it? Guess who goal sucks, as they used to say? It's LeBron James. and you get your 2 back, but you wasted valuable seconds.
Yeah.
Because you needed to make the little right-handed bunny that Russ misses every time.
Right.
Okay? So it was a terrible night for him. Anthony Davis got outplayed by Nurkic.
Yusuf
body
Nurkic.
bag. He got out of his body bag last night that LeBron left him in to go 19-12 and outplay AD.
Bosnian beast.
He is the Bosnian beast, and yet AD had 5 blocks last night. So there was a lot of great bad, because the Lakers made 17 three-point shots, which is so unlike them. They won the three-point line by plus 21, and they managed to lose the game with LeBron and AD?
Because they got outshot. The Trailblazers had 15 more shot attempts. They turned the ball over 10 fewer times. Skip, that's what gets you beat.
This is a team that just gave up Norman Powell and Covington, that has no Dame, and obviously gave up CJ. They got back Josh Hart, who for some reason didn't play last night, Eric Bledsoe, who didn't play last night, and you got a bunch of spare part no-names around Anthony Simons.
That's as embarrassing a loss, Skip, as you'll have.
Well, James Worthy on Sports Spectrum LA, the great Laker, called it the worst loss he could ever remember under the circumstances.
Yeah, you can't lose. Skip, with AD... With AD and LeBron, I don't care. I don't care if you just play Stanley Johnson, Austin Reeves, Kent Bazemore, and Wayne Ellington, and Dwight Howard. You can't lose this game. I don't care about anything else. You got AD and LeBron. You can't lose to this team.
When LeBron turns the ball over like that, he is just disinterested to me because he is so much better than that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we haven't seen LeBron get the ball taken from him at the top of the key. I mean, dribbling the ball up and the guy takes the ball and you fall down. We've never seen LeBron play like that.
He's playing against Trendon Watford and Keljin Blevins and Greg Brown III.
And what you call him? Dennis Smith Jr. had 6 steals.
God.
6 steals.
Too hard on them right
Couple
now. I
from
kind of
LeBron.
feel for him. You could see it and feel it in his interview, like just defeated at this point. Will anything change with the trade deadline? We got
People beat me up. I have to come in here and listen to him.
We know it's been months of defeat at this point for the Lakers.
No mercy.
OBJ was asked if he's looking forward to proving his doubters wrong in the Super Bowl. The receiver bluntly said, "Nah, a younger me definitely would have, but I feel like I've come so far and I really know who I am. I know myself. I know what I can bring." Mature OBJ. Shannon, what do you read into what he said here?
I read that he's grown up as a player and as a person. He knows the mistakes that he made in New York, things that's not conducive for him being the type of player that he wanted to do. He was young. He was immature. And I think he learned a lot by that. But he's not the same guy now as he was back then. I saw a lot of maturing when he was in Cleveland. Although the situation, there are a lot of arrows being pointed at him. Well, when someone doesn't play well, we have to explain, okay, why isn't he playing well? Instead of looking at the individual that's not playing well, we have to look at auxiliary issues. Well, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's him. Maybe it's his receivers. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's the play calling. No, maybe the guy just isn't as good as what you thought he was going to be, and that might be a part of the process. So I love what I'm hearing from him. Talking to him, I see a change in him. He's at a different place in his life, Skip. He's about to be a father. He's as happy as I've seen him in a very, very long time. But he also understands the opportunity that's before him. I expect him to take full advantage of this. But, and that's why I always tell guys, don't worry about proving somebody wrong. Prove yourself right. You say you can still play? You say you still an elite receiver? Well, go do it. And then all of a sudden, they're like, man, Odell playing. He's looking like the old Odell at the New York Giants.
Superstar.
It's coming. It's coming. It won't be long.
I'm going to give you this. I do like Odell. I think he has a good heart. And I'm glad you're mentoring him, guiding him through the morass that he created for himself in New York. And I do think he's grown up a lot. But I think he made a fascinating choice to go to the Rams because I think he had a realization, a eureka moment of when he says, I know who I am now. I also think he knows who he's not. It came down to Green Bay, New Orleans, and out of the blue, a late candidate became the Rams.
Right.
Nobody saw that coming. We didn't even speculate about it, right? He would have been expected to do more sooner, to me, in Green Bay or New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? But here come the Rams, who at that point had Robert Woods.
Correct.
So they had even their number 2 to their clear-cut number 1.
Yes.
And Odell said, I want that. Why? Because it's just a little easier mentally to go there and blend in where you don't have the pressure of the world. When he went to Cleveland, Cleveland's like, we got the savior, right?
Yeah.
And New York said, good riddance. You
can go.
Go. Just go. We're done with you. You're more trouble than you're worth to us. And I don't think Odell ever wanted to go to Cleveland, Ohio to start with, and then it all went south. For whatever reason, that's an argument that we've done 1,000 times, and maybe we'll do it again another day. But the point was, he saw in L.A. a chance to go, quote unquote, home, because he does have a literal home in Beverly Hills that he already had. He loves L.A. He loves New York. It's one or the other. Well, he got the other.
Right.
And then he says, damn, Cooper Kupp is having a year of years.
Right.
Well,
They throw it.
yeah, they do throw it, but Robert Woods is the clear-cut number 2, and Higbee's somewhere up in there, right? And Van Jefferson's pretty good. And yet Odell said, I want some of that because I don't need all the pressure of going in someplace to be the savior.
But, Skip, remember when they made this signing, I say they made this signing because of Van Jefferson. He's going to be a good player, but he's not there yet. And the drops that you started to see piling up, they's like, nah, we can't have that. So if teams decide, because you know that guy's going to get one-on-one. Let's just say for the sake of argument, they double Cooper Kupp, they double Robert Woods. We need someone that can consistently beat one-on-one and can hang on to the one thing we can say about Odell, he's caught everything thrown his way. If it's touched his hands, he's come down with it.
Now, he was dropsy in Cleveland, man.
There
was some big fourth down throws that hit him right in the hands. You want me to pull the tape on that?
No. But I know there's some big fourth downs that he caught, that he been catching.
He's caught balls.
Yeah, caught the 4 first downs against Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Caught another 6 on 2 Sundays ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep. My point is, he found football heaven with the Rams. He found his Valhalla because he can shine in the shadow of Cooper Kupp. And he saw it. He's got high IQ, high football IQ. I don't want to be the savior anymore. I'm not cut out to be the savior. I don't have the mentality, the tough-mindedness to go in and take over a football team.
I got a bad quarterback.
Really?
That's what he got. He found out. He said, you know what? I can go. Let me go. I would rather be the number 2 or 3 receivers.
Or 4.
I would rather be 2, 3, or 4 receiver with a great quarterback as opposed to being number 1 with a slouch, with a slug, with a jag, just a guy.
With a quarterback who won 74 and lost 90 games in Detroit, that guy? Is that who we're talking about? A guy who led the league in interceptions?
Okay, let me ask you a question. What general manager would take?
Did Baker Mayfield lead the league?
What general manager would take Baker Mayfield over Matthew Stafford? Because that's what Odell was working with. So I would rather if I need to play backup to Kupp and Woods, even if I have to get a few fewer targets than Higbee. At least I know a guy that can hit me in my hands, can put the ball between the 3, and not hit me in my head when I got my head turned, not hit me in my heel or hit me in my butt like pin the tail on the donkey.
Really?
That's what your guy was doing. His name is Odell Beckham, not David Beckham.
Really? Huh. Are we talking about the same Baker Mayfield who the week after Odell got hurt in Cincinnati took off and went 8-3 down the stretch and beat Pittsburgh in a playoff game at Pittsburgh with a QBR of 91?
That sounds.
Wait, through 20 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions because there was no more Odell to force the ball.
That seems very Russell Westbrook. You're talking about what you used to be. I know what you once were, but can we talk about 2021?
Yeah.
Talk about Baker.
I will, because Baker tore his labrum so bad that he needed surgery as soon as the season was over. And he played it. He toughed it out the whole season. And he was a wreck. He was a shell of himself.
All I know is,
and he just gutted it up and toughed it out.
All I know is a bunch of teams tore his tail up.
Interesting.
Yeah, they beat the brakes off him.
But guess what? The Browns decided Odell was so bad, he was such a liability, they just cut him loose.
Cut him loose!
You know why? Because they couldn't get a nickel or a dime back for him.
Good.
They couldn't get him.
And look what happened.
Yeah, he found football heaven in Cooper Kupp's shadow.
Y'all,
Cooper Kupp?
Hey.
Cooper? What are we talking about here? I thought Odell was super duper star.
All I know is there are a lot of people in Cleveland would trade positions with Odell at this very moment. How many players would love to be in Odell's shoes right now?
You know, Mike Jones, who does a great job at USA Today, wrote this piece. It's more of a column, but it's got all the Odell quotes. And he's saying that now that Odell feels valued because he's being properly used.
Yes! Thank you!
Thank you! Okay, so since Odell walked in the door with the Rams, Cooper Kupp has been thrown 120 footballs.
Yeah.
Odell's been throwing 71 balls.
Okay.
Properly used?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
let me ask you a question.
Just a clear-cut number 2
Let me ask you a question. How many footballs were you throwing in Cleveland?
A whole bunch.
Think about that. No, he wasn't.
He was the savior.
He wasn't.
He was the one.
Properly used.
In the end, he was born to be a 2.
Think about
this. That's who he is. He's born to be a 2. And it's okay.
Look at this.
The world needs 2s.
That very offense. Look at Adam Thielen and look at Justin Jefferson. In the very offense. And look at Cousins. Cousins dealing. Cousins throwing for... Look at his numbers. Dealing? Look at... Baker Mayfield ain't never had numbers like Kirk Cousins had since he's been in Minnesota. Don't do that, Skip. Don't you dare do that.
Yeah, and they've gone where with Kirk Cousins?
The same place Baker Mayfield go.
Where Baker Mayfield go? Not anywhere.
Nowhere.
To surgery.
No, exactly.
A hard couple of years.
No mercy.
Despite Space Jam 2 dominating at the box office this summer, LeBron was recently nominated for a Razzie Award for Worst Actor for his performance in the film. Oh, I didn't want to bring it up, but we had to. Shannon,
LeBron.
how unfair is this?
It's all part of the game. It happens.
Does it?
Yeah, how about this? I'm going to tell you a guy that got nominated for a Razzie. Marlon Brando. He any good, Skip?
Well, he wasn't at the end.
Oh, no. The Godfather.
Yeah.
What about Streetcar Named Desire?
Well, obviously.
Tango in Paris?
Well,
any good? He got nominated.
He got a little heavy in the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Al Pacino. Is Al Pacino not any good now?
He becomes a caricature of himself.
No, he's a caricature of himself. You will say anything to try to just put this. What about Halle Berry? To date, the only African American to win an Academy Award in a lead for a female. Is she any good?
Yep.
Sandra Bullock. She got nominated. Is she any good? It's a part of the game. You play something, you do something long enough, they'll try to pick you apart.
Really?
This movie made $162 million.
Good
It didn't get released in China. You know, China's going to add another $100 million to it. Don't do that, Skip.
Shannon Sharpe, I tried to warn you. I tried to warn him. He tried to be Michael Jordan. He tried to beat Michael Jordan with another Space Jam. And he got in your face jammed because he's up for a Razzie. And you know what? I think LeBron's finally going to win something. I think he's going to win Worst Actor. And I think he deserved Worst Actor for that performance because it was hard for me to watch. I told you it was just straight blasphemy.
I'm looking at this. Okay, 25% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's the movie critics. 79% audience rating, which means the people that actually went and saw the movie. Space Jam 1 got 45% on Rotten Tomatoes, 63% of the people that went and actually saw the movie. So let me get this straight. 79% of the people that saw the movie liked LeBron's movie. 63% of the people that saw Michael Jordan's movie liked his movie. Now, where does 69?
What do I tell you about his fandom?
Oh, now it's fandom.
Fanatic fandom. They're called blind witnesses because they're blind.
Oh,
They'll go see anything and they don't even open their eyes. It's LeBron. It's great.
Whoa.
Walk out and say, it was the greatest movie ever.
So now
he's better than Brando.
So the critics, Skip, there have been a lot of times the critics don't like a movie I love. There have been times I love a movie the critics didn't like. I don't let you sit and tell me what I should like and what I shouldn't like. You like what you like. I like what I like.
I know what I know.
Oh, no.
And that was just straight bad.
Did the movie make money? Did the movie make money?
Whatever he touches, he's got the Midas touch.
Did the movie
He's got 9 million blind witnesses following him.
The money matters.
Go see my movie.
It
I'll go
makes
see
sense.
it. It was great.
Is that what they did with Space Jam 4?
What are you going to do?
No,
what are you going to do?
They didn't know nothing.
Special.
That's not what the people said.
We'll be back with more acting, guys.
No mercy.
Former Patriots quarterback Scott Zolak thinks Tom Brady is, quote, focused on getting to the 49ers. The New England radio analyst and host thinks the Bucs could trade Brady's rights to San Francisco for Jimmy G. The GOAT could play one season for his boyhood team. So, Shannon, can you see it happening?
No. I could have had him for free. And now I'm going to trade draft capital to get it.
Was that not the biggest mistake Kyle
There wasn't no
Shanahan's
biggest mistake.
ever made?
No, they gave her 2 first rounds. And plus, in that West Coast system, you need to be mobile. You need to have legs because they're going to put you on the move.
You don't think you could figure that out?
No, you can't figure it out.
You don't think that would be a godsend for this franchise?
No.
Because Trey Lance is really, I love Trey Lance. I first guessed that, but I also first guessed this. Did I not bring this up 2 weeks ago?
The Statue of Liberty can only do this.
Yeah.
That's all they're going to do. Ain't no substitute. Ain't nothing else you can do. She can just go do like this here.
Wait, the guy that Pro Football Folks said had the greatest season of his career.
The greatest season, and where he at?
It was the best grade he's ever had.
Matthew Stafford threw the most interceptions in the NFL.
Yeah.
He playing on Sunday. Where your guy?
Well, he should be in San Francisco.
I'm retired. No, I'm not. I'm retired. Never say never. I might come back. I'm done.
Okay.
I'm my family needs me.
49ers next year, they'd have a better chance with Trey Lance or Tom Brady.
Better chance of what?
Winning.
Your guy retired.
He's going to come back. I told you he was.
And do what?
He had second thoughts.
I mean, how much talent does he need? He got the ideal situation. He cherry picking? Damn. As Charles Barkley say, Tom Brady want all the damn talent.
You jealous?
Second thoughts for like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
The speculation
Matthew Stafford gonna be the
begins.
champion.
We're going to be all over this thing.
He want to play Stafford in the same division so he can put Fuzz in it twice a year.
Yes, he does.
Great stuff. I promise we'll keep this conversation going tomorrow on Friday. Herd is on now. Have a great day.